from the point of view of being a director of the club, what did 2006 European campaign mean to you?
Well, the European campaign was it was a fire that lit the touch paper. It was a skyrocket. It was Derry City. How's that for a metaphor for you? Up until that, the club was building gradually and slowly. The performances on the pitch, the crowds were coming to the matches. But with it was football people. It was people that had a passing interest in Derry City. They were coming to matches, but the European run did it raised the profile of the club and the media, not just in Derry but all over Ireland, Europe, and people that normally wouldn't have heard had any contact with Derry City, all of a sudden were reading about Derry City. They were seeing it on the TV. They were hearing about it, so everybody wanted a bit of Derry City. They were all coming to the games. The attendance skyrocketed. The coverage, the media coverages just exploded. Interest, sponsor, everybody wanted to know us, and that was the European run. If it hadn't been for the European run, it would have been just a great season amongst football people for Derry City.
And from the point of view of
Just put it right back, like. Put it right back on me.
skyrocketed, how difficult was it to when it came to push came to shove in the big European game? How difficult was it to facilitate and cater for the real fans of Derry City before everybody else jumped on the bandwagon?
It was an absolute nightmare, Desi, but it had to be done because these are the people that are going to be back whenever things quieten down and the glare of the media is gone. These are the people that are going to be there. You're depending on for and come and support. So personally, I'm the club secretary. I'm responsible for ticketing. I went out of my way as much as I humanly could to make sure that every single Derry City supporter, good, loyal, long-term supporter, was catered for.
And from the point of view of success brings its own pressures, what pressures did it bring in relation to, okay, there was success in the pitch and it was great and the profile of the club was increasing, there was financial benefits as well which would strengthen and protect the future of the club as well, but what other pressures did it bring in relation to you as a board?
The pressures were enormous. I don't know how many times I resigned over the course of that European run. I've had my only ever major explosion, emotional breakdown at a game where I was on my way out of the ground until Jim Roddy stopped me and brought me back in again. It's like a double-edged sword, it's awful, it's terrible, but at the same time too, it's fantastic, it's amazing. Until you're in that position of where you go from despondency and depression, the elation and the most satisfying thing you've ever experienced in your life, all in the course of 90 minutes. It's you have to be there to know what it's like.
Essentially, Mickey, you are now the club secretary, but before you're the club secretary, you're a fan of Derry City. What did it mean to you as a fan of Derry City, the success of last year?
That's right. The first thing I did, whenever the final whistle went at the Gothenburg game, I had in my mind that I was going to resign from the club because the pressure was just intense. And the moment the final whistle went, I ran over like a lunatic to where the Brandywell Pride Boys are, and I was hugged and back slapping and shaking hands and getting kissed and by women, not men, and I was very, very emotional. All the concerns and worries and thoughts went out of your mind, and it was just sheer emotion, and money can't buy that sort of experience. I've never experienced anything like that in my life before, and I probably never will again because we became blasé. We became to expect great things, but that first European victory in the Brandywell, the first one on a round in Europe, and what it meant to the fans, it meant exactly the same. I was a fan. As I says in that night, I was quoted, I've often been re-quoted about it, that just a fan, that's it. And I just reacted as a fan that night.
Finally, from the point of view of finance again, Derry City's not a club and hasn't been a club that has had an awful lot of money to throw about the place. How difficult financially was it for the directors, because essentially they paid their own way to a lot of the fixtures in Europe. So like it was a burden on directors as well as a burden on the fans who travelled across Europe.
That's right. I'm just a working man, you know what I mean, man of the people, and I really couldn't afford it. I mean, I had the credit union the same way as the fans had the credit union and the credit cards, and I couldn't get off work for the trip to Paris. So I flew out that morning as a fan with the fans. I was blending my Derry City jersey, and I came back the next morning. So I missed out on the reception, the Irish embassy, and I missed out all staying in the big hotel. I stayed in the Ibis in Paris with the fans, you know, with my people, and but that in itself added to the experience for me, because I wasn't miles away in the Parc de France from the Derry fans. I was slap bang in the middle of them. I was 20 yards away from Scaldy and the drummers now, and I was singing and chanting and dancing just the same as everybody else. And as a director, sometimes you miss that, you know. I certainly do, because I've always been very passionate about Derry City. I've never been afraid to let referees and opposing players know how I felt about them. Now that I'm a director, I always have to restrain myself and act in a civilised manner, and it just doesn't come natural. So going to Paris just a supporter was something I've missed, and it brought back to me what it's like just to stand on the terraces and chant and cheer and swear and abuse people, you know. Amazing experience. The highlight probably of the whole European thing for me was sitting in a metro train that night, coming back to the hotel from a match. We're surrounded by PSG fans, and we're having a good bit of crack on them, and one of them said to me, you know, even our hooligans loved you. And that just summed up what the whole experience was. Everybody loved us. The French people, that any time in Paris before, they wouldn't spit on you. The Parisians are notorious way I live. They were crossing the street and shaking hands with us. They wanted us to beat PSG. Phenomenal, incredible. Never experienced anything like it. Probably never will again.